Good evening. Today we are going to speak about very interesting topic, and our topic for today is game-based learning. And indeed, in previous video I was talking about different kind of learning strategies, like problem-based learning strategies, project-based learning strategies, and so on. And today we are going to speak about the game-based learning strategy. And indeed, when you are trying to describe or define certain type of the learning strategy, first what you want to do is to define distinctive feature of the learning strategy. So indeed, what is the distinctive feature of the game-based learning? What is the main difference of this learning strategy compared to the other learning strategies? And indeed, you can find any gaming elements in any other learning strategy, because any learning strategy involves socialization elements, like working in the groups, working in the teams, communicating, cooperating. So indeed, when you trying to define and defend game-based learning as a learning strategy, you must define it as a distinctive learning strategy with a distinctive features. So what are the distinctive feature for the game-based learning? So a game-based learning is a separate learning strategy, and of course game is a form of simulation of reality. And within the game, we are aiming to do some educational impact on learners. Game involves players, certain rules, procedures, and facilitators. Games are useful for socialization and learning certain subjects, but I could say that it's more socialization feature in this game-based learning strategy is the most important. So when we are talking about the game-based learning, we are focused not so much on learning one or other subject mostly, but we are mostly focused on socialization of the learners themselves. Also, game-based learning helps to promote psychomotoric and cognitive skills of the learners, so it's very important. And of course, there are very different classification of games in the game-based learning, but the major types of the games in the game-based learning are defined in following, and they are discovery games, decision-making games, and simulation games. And let's look how are they defined. In simulation games, of course, they trying to express different kinds of situations to simulate the situation, like personification or visualization of the situation or feature, using humor in situation or creating comics, using drama in situation, performing tragic situation, improvisation when decision not known so well, conflict resolution simulation, virtual simulation, getting the best design solutions. So as you see, simulation games are very important. They try to reflect the real situation of life and looking for the certain solutions in the simulation format. Discovery games in the game-based learning also is separate type of games, and within discovery games, learners and facilitators trying to retain certain information from the long-term memory. They are aiming to research information on certain learning objects by playing in certain environment, either real or virtual. Also, within discovery game-based learning, learners are being provoked for brainstorming ideas. Also, games are implemented for creative thinking and creation acts. Also, learners are prompted to think out of the box in the discovery-based learning. Also, they are prompted to search for information. Their information literacy skills also are being promoted within this type of game, discovery game type. Also, decision-making games also concerns making certain decisions when choices already known. Also, defining and weighting certain criteria, making consensus in the groups and teams, making compromises, promoting strategical thinking, promoting planning skills, and promoting learners' deliberation and will. And indeed, all those three types of games, in terms of simulation games, discovery games, decision making games, could be combined in the game based learning, prompting them to simulate certain realistic world environment, also prompting to discover something within the game, to learn something within the game, and also they are prompting to make certain decision in the game-based learning. So as you see, that simulation games, discovery games, and decision-making games are the most important games within game-based learning strategy. And indeed, game-based learning strategy is the most important for socialization of the learners themselves. So socialization is the most important point in the game-based learning.